Can you believe that it's freaking February already?
It's like this horrible year is flying by.
That's just it. Like life has been a complete fucking ball
It's
of fire.
fucking terrible. Yeah.
Just absolute dumpster fire from the word go, but it's going by so fast
Thank
that before
goodness.
you know it, 4 years will be over, the country will be in smoldering ruins, but we'll be out the other side,
Yeah,
maybe.
we're gonna be fine. Sure.
Oh my god.
This is fucked.
Mega Dads Live is a mature rated podcast. It's for the Mega Dads, the Mega Moms, but not the Mega Kids. So put on those earmuffs and let's go!
4 months away from my trip to Japan.
Oh my god, it's gonna be amazing, Adam. You're gonna
which
have
is-
so much
Yeah,
fun.
that is the second reason I bring up how fast everything is moving by, because just 2 months ago, we finalized our plans that we were going to be going to Japan, and now we're already 2 months further along, and we're trying to figure out how we're going to do this. Like, there's so much. Every weekend we're watching new YouTube videos, recommendations of what to do in different parts of the city, where to eat, where to spend your time and your dollars. And one of the things that I've always been very nervous about with this trip is, like, what's the food gonna be like? Because as people who know me, I hate fish. Like, I do not
Adam.
like seafood.
You're going to the wrong place, Adam.
Which is what you would think. I went to Tokyo 19 years ago, and this was way before the time of, pop your cell phone out and open Google Maps and find a joint to eat. So, like, it was really just seat of your pants, where am I going to go? And in Japan, 90% of what you eat was seafood, right? But what I'm finding now is that I'm able to research it online. I'm able to plan out where we're going to eat. There are so many really cool and interesting restaurants or food trucks or food experiences in Tokyo that I think I'm going to get away with, like, hardly eating any seafood at all. But I want to talk about sushi in particular, because that is a food that I've tried a couple times and I didn't like it. I took my kids to Sam's Club about a month ago, and they had food samples, like they do, and they had samples of sushi. And my son, who does like fish, really wanted to try the sushi. So I'm like, well, go ahead and take a sample, because this is like the perfect time to try before you buy. See what you think. He popped one of those things in his mouth, and he was just like, oh my god, this is amazing.
That's good.
So
all
good.
Right.
I'm like, all right, so you'll be all right. And then I'm looking over the sushi, and it looks unlike any sushi I had ever tried when I was in Japan before. I'm certainly not a guy who looks over the sushi menu, so I'm sure sushi's come a long way in the last 19 years. But I'm looking at this thing, and it's got like barbecue sauce and sriracha mayo and crispy flakes, and the meat is like crab meat rather than like tuna. And I'm like, that actually sounds pretty decent. And it was a California crunch roll, which people who eat sushi know what that is. Me as a sushi, as a no seafood guy, like, I had no idea. I tried this thing. I loved it. And so now all of a sudden I'm like checking out sushi menus every time we go places, just to see, like, I don't know if this is like an Americanized sushi that you won't get over there, if this is just like the way sushi's gone in the last few years. Do you eat sushi?
I've had it, and similar to you, it's like I'll eat it, but I never have had sushi and was like, oh, that's so delicious, let me eat more. It was more like I got through it.
Right.
And it just doesn't like appeal to me. So I've tried it, but I don't seek it out.
I'm all of a sudden realizing that sushi can be so many different things.
Yeah.
And we had like a spicy crab roll, and that was really good. And it really depends on like what's on the sushi. Well, you put some sriracha mayo on pretty much anything, and I'll eat it. You know what I'm saying? So
the other thing that you have to be aware of is that they're gonna put in so much effort into making your food. Like everything is a like something to be mastered. So when they are cooking food for you out there, it's gonna be so fresh and so
Hmm.
expertly done that it's gonna be unlike your Costco like
Yeah.
crab roll thing. So if I were you, I would try it. Like I'm not a big fish person either, but like when
Hmm.
I went to co- when I was on our honeymoon, there was like fish that was prepared in lobster and crab that was
Yeah.
just prepared very fresh, and like it tasted much different, much better. And I would say keep your mind open, and I would try some things
Hmm.
while you're out there, and you may come back as a connoisseur of sushi.
It, it
Who knows?
it is. Yeah, I always make the joke now every time we go to Sam's Club. I'm like, oh, here come the hillbillies at their favorite sushi restaurant, Sam's Club, right? So it's like I'm excited. I'm willing to try new things, and boy, do there seem like some really interesting things to try.
Really
When
quick, speaking of cuisine, right? My
Mhm.
daughter's sitting there and she's eating garlic bread, and she's like, "Mom, Dad, we should get some garlic bread seeds, and we can plant them so we're never out of garlic bread." And I said, "Absolutely, honey. We're gonna get some garlic bread seeds, and we will plant them and harvest our garlic bread."
I think you need to
It-
lean into this. I think in the spring you need to dig a hole in the ground and just like drop
Just
an
have
entire
bread.
loaf in there.
Yeah.
Come on, honey, let's go pick the garlic bread, and you just pull
Oh
this
my God.
right out of the ground. Just make this a whole thing. She'll be like 18 years old, and it'll dawn on her that this was never a thing, and then her whole life has been a lie. I think this could be really fun for you.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Mega Dad's being super positive.
It's time to talk about the things that are bringing us joy in our life. It's the super positive. And I got to say, Antonio, I know last week was Valentine's Day, but I'm going to say right now that my super positive is spending time with you. I have so much fun when we record Mega Dads Live. I love hearing about your kid because mine are aged up. And so when you bring your little cute kid stories, like that's what hits right here. My kids aren't cute anymore. You know what I'm talking
No,
about?
they are
Like
not. I've seen them, Adam.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Oh my God. They're just sloppy, preteen kids. Ugh. I don't even like to look at them. So I come here to get my cuteness from your stories, and I just want you to know how much I love recording Mega Dads Live with you. How many years has it been that you've been co-host now? It's been a long time.
I don't know.
It's got to
It-
be like
it
3-4
was-
years now, right?
Yeah, at least. Yeah, at least.
Man.
Wow, time is flying by.
Flying by. Again, we're on death's door. So let's take the
yes.
time to appreciate
It's
it.
almost over. Let's ride in until the wheels
Yeah,
fall
ride it.
off. My super positive is similar along lines to you. We already talked about like garlic bread seeds and the stuff that comes out of my daughter's mouth, like on the daily. Like, so she's in the room. She comes into our room in the morning and she's trying to wake us up, and she's like frustrated. She's like stomping her feet. Doo, doo, doo. She's like opening our windows or whatever. It's like this is her like routine. It's like, let me get them up. Let me start like picking this up or whatever. She goes, oh fuck. And she's like going over here, and then she's cleaning this up, and she's like, she finds her little teddy bear, and like the dog had been chewing on it. She goes, fuck, and just like is like walking around. So me and my wife are like wide-eyed staring at each other in bed, like, what should we do? Because a lot of times we just ignore it and don't like, because if you make a big deal out of it, like, she's very sensitive as well, so I don't want to be like, hey, don't say that or whatever. It's just like kind of just let it go. She's been saying, oh, biscuits, like the fake swears from Bluey and stuff. I was
That's
getting
from
my
Bluey?
oil changed. That's from Bluey. I was getting an oil change, and this guy was like, oh, that'll be $89 for your oil change. We had to do this, that. He's like, biscuits. This guy is like, 60 years old, and he's just saying biscuits out loud, and I'm like laughing or whatever. It's like, it's funny, like this is everywhere now. People just trying to like not swear in front of their kids, adopting the Bluey swears. Like, yeah,
My daughter has been saying biscuits for weeks, and we're like,
that's it. That's
what
Bluey.
is this? It's from Bluey.
That's all fuck. That's what that is.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, she, my daughter in particular she recognizes what swearing is,
Mm-hmm.
and she knows she's not supposed to say it, which is like what you want, right? So when she'll talk about like a movie or something that was on where they'd say bitch or whatever, and she'll stop herself and say when they said that bad word. So we've kind of had the realization as parents that our daughter knows what swearing is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you don't know what to do. Like you said, when your kid swears, you're like, do they know what they just did? Like, should we address it? Should we just let it go? It really depends on the age, obviously. If my son came out and said bitch, we'd address that because he should know what that means. Swearing is a really difficult thing to navigate as
the problem
parents.
with swearing is as soon as you say something like, okay, she says, oh, bitch. And I'm like, you're not supposed to say that word. It's a bad word. You shouldn't use it. Then why are you saying it, Dad, every time you have to get up early? Like, why? Like, where do you think I got it from? I learned it from you. Like,
I'm really shocked at how good I've become at censoring myself around my kids, because I'm a dude who I let it rip.
Oh, yeah,
like,
you're like a
obviously
sailor
anybody
on
who listens
leave.
to this podcast knows that I've got a filthy mouth. At work, I swear all the time. When I'm around adults, I swear all the time. But for some reason, I'm able to like flip that switch when my kids are around, which you would think would be incredibly challenging. But I don't know. I've got this like superpower where I can just turn that off when my kids are around. So I'm lucky in that regard. But one day, my kids will discover this show.
Yeah,
and
it's over.
They'll see me in a different light, and I'm going to have a lot of explaining to do.
You are a vile, dirty old man.
I really am. I'm so excited to hear you talk about your Press Start segment. You, my friend, have invested into an ecosystem that I have wanted to for quite a long time. It is VR. It is the MetaQuest 3. You got the good one.
Yes, I knew that I wasn't going to be satisfied with the more basic model, the 3S, I believe it's called, something like that. So I went fully with the MetaQuest 3 VR headset that has the big technological improvement is what they call pancake lenses, where you're able to see a lot more on your peripheral. Like, there is no like small sweet spot in the VR set. You can move your eyes around and everything is just sharp, and it's very much more immersive. And I haven't been in the VR since the Rift. I have an Oculus Rift. It's actually right here. I had like the old wired headset. So I got this out and I was like, let me experience this. Is it still fun? And even with the low res old technology, I was like, you know what? I think I would enjoy the new stuff. Buddy Clay, Megadad's Clay, he had it at his house and he showed me Batman and he had the MetaQuest 3. And I was like, all right, this is it. Let me get back in there. And I luckily, pro tip, got a refurbished Amazon headset. So I didn't spend the $500.
Nice.
I spent like $350, which I think is very much more reasonable for me. It was like on a huge discount. So I got it that way. It didn't have any problems. Long story short, this thing is so worth it at that price point that I was amazed, because I get VR sickness. Like, if I'm moving around too much, if you don't have the games and the experiences automatically do, instead of smooth, what they call locomotion movement, you can teleport or have vignette where the screen gets darker around your eyes when you move.
Yeah.
And they've learned that this helps you experience movement in VR without feeling sick. I'm in there, Adam, and there's this game called Veil. It's a shooter, and you walk into this big cavern room, and then there was this thing, and it's like, here, grab here. I grab it, and my whole VR body zip lines, and not just down like in a straight line. It's zooming like in like these loops, and I'm going fast, and I'm like, and then I let go, and then my body falls in VR, equivalent to like 4 stories, and I didn't get sick. And it's like, whoa, like you are really moving in these games now.
Yeah.
And after a while, it's just the what you can do in the standalone headset, no wires. If you're in a shooting game, you can take 2 steps to your left and dodge, or like duck down, and you'll be playing games and you'll see people. As long as you have enough space, it will allow you movement in that room. And there's just something so, when you game on a 2D flat screen, you're always seated and just like, not, but every movement translating to your body, kind of giving you that extra movement, is just insane. I'm incredibly happy with the MetaQuest 3 so far, and I've barely scratched the surface. There's a lot of great games, there's a lot of not so good shovelware, and the rip between them is so large. Sometimes I'm just in there and I find something where I'm like, oh wow, like let me try this out, and then my battery will die because 2.5 hours later, it's just I played my headset out.
Right.
I never thought that I would VR game for more than 20, 30 minutes at a time, and I'm regularly getting lost. I went to the casino in VR, and I'm playing poker and roulette, and all of a sudden my headset's dead, and I'm like, oh no, like I've been in here for 2 hours, like, and that is how immersive this can be. Now I kind of forget that I'm in like the headset and I'm just doing whatever I'm doing, and it's incredible. I'm so happy that I dove in at this point. The value is there. There's a Meta Plus subscription where you can pay $8 a month and get access to some really great games. Walkabout Mini Golf VR's in there. Asgard's Wrath 2 is in there, which is a huge kind of AAA like Meta backed game. Like there's a lot in there, and I'm just like I said, scratching the surface. I've played, like, in the couple weeks I had it, I've played like 20, 30 things, all in little bits. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, I want to go back to this one, but I'm trying the next thing. So there's just a smorgasbord of options of what to play. And I haven't even dipped into hooking it up with a PC to play like Half-Life Alyx, which is like well regarded to be like the most impressive VR game made to date. So there's a lot to do. It's the best part and the most surprising part to me about this headset is whenever you go to turn on a video game, right? You have that like, what am I gonna play? Or how long is it gonna take me to go down to my console, hit the button, boot up, like that. Like these quick start, the quick resume on the games were a game changer. Things like the Switch, you would have a save state. You hit the button and you're like out from sleep mode. This headset is so compact. It's like right in your hands, just like a pair of goggles, and that's it. And then the controllers. But I'm throwing this in a bag and like taking it to my parents' house, taking it somewhere, and then I'll just like put it on and jump in really quick. You hit the button, your boots up fairly fast. The downloads of games are very fast. The boot ups are like not bad, and I find myself making that decision to jump in a lot faster than I normally would. So like the speed of it all, the convenience of it all is just way better than I thought. I thought it was going to be a chore, like, oh, I gotta go. But the cordless nature of it is just like, I can pop this on anytime, and it's great for that.
I'm really excited to hear about more AR games. Clay recently reviewed the Walltown Wonders, which is just, it looks so cool. The idea that you can just you play in your room. To me, the biggest barrier to me deciding to play a VR game, I love VR, but to me, it's always like, okay, I'm cutting myself off from everyone in my house when I do this. So to me, that AR that MetaQuest 3 has is so exciting because you can talk and see everybody in the room while you're playing the games, and it completely removes that whole idea of, goodbye, everyone, I'm going to go play VR, because I'm a guy that, I love to play games a lot, but I like to do it, when people are around, so you can still talk to people and people can watch you or whatever. So that's, to me, the big thing about VR is just I'm shutting myself off from everybody. So I'm excited to hear about where AR gaming goes. And Meta obviously is the one who's going to really elevate that ideology of gaming. So I'm super excited to hear more AR games. I'm hoping you dive into some of that. I'm just really excited that you're going into this, because I haven't had a lot of people to talk about VR with. I always bring these VR games that I love, and it's hard to explain to people properly who aren't in it, right? And so now we've got quite a few members of our community. There's you, there's Clay, there's JB, there's Brian, who are all in that space. we're gonna have to get some mini golf going here.
Yes,
Like,
we're gonna
some
try to
mini
do
golf.
a bi-weekly walkabout mini golf meetup to go and play some holes. That game is like, again, barely scratched the
So
surface
good.
of so many things, but you could tell like mini golf is so, like, you get into it at a certain point. Like if you go mini golf and you start like I'm gonna bank this off here. This is a fun course, and I got that same feeling in VR where, I do enjoy this. I want to play some more. I want to see what the next hole is, and playing with people is like supposedly like really great. The more I play in VR, my first thought all the time is, man, I gotta show this to someone. It'd be nice if they could jump in here with me, and it just elevates the experience. The second you play VR with people, it's crazy the heightened experience that you have. Just playing multiplayer games in general on a 2D flat screen, I get that. I'm a multiplayer gamer a lot, and now with VR, there's something special and magical about it, and I'm very excited for the future. I'll be talking more about VR and MetaQuest 3 as time goes on, because there's just so much for me to do that I still haven't done. I'm looking forward to sim racing. I believe that I'm this close to jumping into the racing wheel and being in a cockpit and having the F1 racer and just like going. So I might jump into full sim. Everybody says don't do it. It's a money pit, and you'll get addicted. So I have an addictive nature, so I might have to do it.
Dip your toe. I'll say dip your toe first, because I played Gran Turismo on PSVR 2, and I'm a guy that doesn't get motion sick a lot. There are some games where it's like I can play for like a half hour and then I gotta tap out. There's a lot of games that racing and flight games for some reason just turn me upside down. So as much as I loved Gran Turismo in VR, I cannot do it for more than like 5 minutes, which is a super bummer, because as an advocate for VR, you want to tell people, you'll just click with it. But the truth of the matter is there are going to be some experiences that are a little too intense. So if you haven't done any racing in VR yet, definitely dip your toe in before you invest all the money in the rig. For some reason that's one that I just cannot do, which is a bummer, because I am a guy that really loves racing games. That sound is the caboose. Let's get on the track and give you a recommendation of something outside the world of video games to close out the episode. And for me, I live in Minnesota. You live in Chicago. We're Midwest people, and winter is cold and dark. And we actually just had a massive dumping of snow. It was like 6 inches. The wind chill temperature was like 20 below right now. But about a week ago, thanks to global warming and the fact that we're all going to die really soon, sucker got up to like 50 degrees for 2 days here in Minnesota. And I am a guy that every day at work, when it's nice, I go out and I take my walk. I do like 2 miles around my workplace, and I get out and I enjoy the sunshine. And being halfway through this cold, dark season, and then having that break and being able to get outside and feel the sunshine and the warmth, that literally recharged my battery. I'm solar powered Adam right now. I was feeling in such a funk, and I got out and I took like a 40-minute walk in the warmth and the sunshine, and it felt so incredibly good. So my caboose is sunlight. Get outside when you can. If you're a person that doesn't live when it's freezing cold, just get out and appreciate it. But there's something especially as gamers who like to sit in the dark and put VR goggles on, like you cannot put a price on how valuable it is to get outside, breathe in clean air, and feel the warmth and the sunshine. So if you have the opportunity, get outside and really enjoy that.
The days are getting longer. Spring is around the corner. We're going to get through it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. My recommendation is for something called, have you heard of this? The PFC. Have you heard of the PFC?
I've not heard of the PFC. Heard of KFC.
The PFC is the Pillow Fighting Championship, the world's first professional pillow fighting league, featuring professional fighters engaging in intense, fast-paced, all-ages-friendly combat unrivaled by any other professional sports entertainment or fighting organization. I'm scrolling through the TV, YouTube TV. My brother was like, hey, we can add you. I was like, cool. And we're just like scrolling through, and all of a sudden on the screen, we see the PFC. And me and my wife and my daughter are just watching this. And it's professional pillow fighting in a ring, kind of like UFC. There's people cheering. They have like a sack, the pillow, and they're doing moves. And it's like backhand, and there's commentators, and this is just, and there's points. The only super weird thing about this, I'm pretty sure that the matches are like a couple minutes, like start to finish, like 2 or something weird like that. It was going by so fast. I'm like, is that the end of the round? Is this the end of the fight? And it's like, they're like, these guys are like doing like little dances before they're like swinging the pillow, and I highly recommend checking it out for the laugh factor alone. They take it so seriously. It's like straight-laced, like, they're like talking smack. They're like, yeah, I got this, I've been training my whole life. They had this, they have people with shirts and like, signs, and like, it's just so weird. Like, you got to check it out. The PFC, it's probably on ESPN 8 or something like that, but
oh my
you got to check it out. YouTube, the Pillow Fighting Championship.
That is insane. Where do they,
Yes.
where are they? What's the arena?
It's like I don't know. Like, it looked like a UFC type arena.
They're not like jumping on a bed or anything?
No. Oh, that would have been a good idea to have it just be a huge bed.
Yeah.
Oh man, they messed up, Adam. They should just be they should be on like a super mega California King bed. But no, it's an arena. It's like a boxing like ring, and people are watching in the stands. You have to. It's pretty hilarious. It is on ESPN 8. They call it the Ocho. Oh my god. Yes, so check it out, ESPN 8.
I will definitely be checking that out. Pillow Fighting Championship League. Okay,
PFC,
that's cool. All right, well, we hope you check out the Pillow Fighting. That's just ridiculous. I don't even know how to end this episode. We thank you so much for watching and listening to Megadads Live. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you join us in our Megadads Discord. The link is in the description. We'll see you next week on an all-new episode of Megadads Live.